Two, one. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, coming to you, of course, from an undisclosed location somewhere deep in the heart of American flyover country. And it's about 4 degrees here today, so we're having a chilly day, under the radar, but definitely over the top. And today I'm very happy to have with me Barnabas. Is it Nagy or Nagy?
Usually they call me Nagy.
Okay, Barnabas Nagy, who is at least where I'm concerned, a expert on Tartaria, which is something I know very little about, something that a lot of you want to learn about. And I'm excited to have Barnabas with us here today. And Barnabas, why don't you start off, if you could, give a little introduction of yourself, and then let folks know where they can contact your information, if you have any books, websites, YouTube channel, things of that sort.
Oh, yeah, sure. So welcome, everyone. This is Barnabas Nagy, and I have a YouTube channel. You can find me just by typing my name, and you will find it, really. I also have a website where I link everything from, like whatever comes up, basically merch, and I'm planning a book and some map as well. You can download my music. I'm a musician. I play the guitar, and I'm a truther. I went into Tartaria and the mud flood. And yeah, that's what we are going to talk about today.
Amazing. So Tartaria and the mud flood are kind of tied together then?
Yeah, pretty much, because the mud flood was, according to my research, was the cover-up for all that Tartarian architecture and the culture and the whole country.
Interesting. I have a college degree. I have actually 6 years of college. Graduated from a Bible college, fairly intelligent guy, fairly aware. I read a lot. I study a lot, and still I've never even heard the word Tartaria until somebody said, Jeff, there's this guy named Barnabas. He talks about Tartaria. You got to have him on. How can that be?
Well, that's a very interesting story. That's how the powers to be try to hide everything. And I think my story is actually very similar, except that we heard in school about the Tatars. Have you heard about the Tatars?
Yes, I have heard about the Tatars.
Yeah. So based on my research, the Tatars and the Tartarian people are one and the same thing. But it's just kind of like a wordplay. I'm not sure why is it the same. But if you go to Wikipedia and search for Tartaria, there's an entry for that. And it will also link to the Tatar country. And I was also shocked because I only heard about the Tatars, who were some kind of nomad people, in Asia. And that's what we learned in school. And that was it.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all. But it was very interesting to find, lots of maps actually talking about a country or showing a country called Tartaria. And I never heard about that in school for sure.
It's craziness. So why don't you just start at the beginning and walk us through it and, pretend like we don't know anything about it, because I don't think a lot of us do.
Okay, sure. So how about I share my screen here?
Please do. Take the wheel.
Okay, so let me find this out, how to do this. Is it under more?
It says right in the at the bottom, there should be a green folder and it says share.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
And if you click on that, it'll work.
So if I
pretty much every time.
Can you see it now?
It usually takes a second for it to pop up. I don't see it yet.
Okay.
And oh, here it comes. Yeah, we see it now.
Okay, cool. So this is the Minds article that links to all to my videos about Tartaria series. So if you open up here, this is the YouTube link to my Tartaria video. And if you're on minds.com, you can again just search for my name and you will find it.
Excellent.
And as I said, if you click on Tartaria, let's say, or Tartary, that's the English name, you will see here this article. And then from there will be other links, I'm not sure where it is exactly, but I have it linked here. So there's the Tatars. I'm just opening that up. So the Tatars are Turkic-speaking people living mainly in Russia and other post-Soviet countries. That's what they say. And then you open up the next page, which was again linked from that page. And Interestingly, you can find that they have a flag and coat of arms, and they are still kind of like a country.
Interesting.
Based in the Federal Republic of Russia, or Russian Federation. So it's still like kind of, I don't know how to call it. Like it's like a state in America, I guess.
So there's actually still a place called Tartarstan in
That's right.
Russia today.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and then you open up the next link that will talk about the Tatar language. So I never heard anything like that before I made my research. So it's a very interesting things to discover.
Absolutely.
And one thing I wanted to show here, if I can take over this screen here. There we go. So Tartaria, it says, so Tartary is the English name, and it's in Latin. Tartaria, or Great Tartary, Tartaria Magna, was a historical region, but up until the 18th century, it was known as a vast country located in northern and central Asia, stretching eastward from the Caspian Sea and from the Ural Mountains. Now, what I wanted to point out here, and let me make this a bit bigger.
So Barnabas, it was actually a very large country.
It was a very large country. Now, let me show you what happened here. So until the 18th century, it was known as a vast country. Right. Now, this was edited by one of my viewers. So we actually changed Wikipedia because it was saying it was a tract in Asia. So they didn't want to admit that it was ever a country.
Interesting. And you know I've tried to edit Wikipedia, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do it. So it's not that easy.
Yeah, one of my viewers apparently have a good access, and he's like a scholar who has good reputation on Wikipedia. And he said he's going to go ahead and going to change it and not let anyone change this.
So it was a vast country until the 18th century, and now here in the 21st century, no one's ever heard of it.
That's right. They don't want you to know about this because that's a big cover-up story.
Well, I'm excited to hear why.
Well, there are several rabbit holes that you can go down as to why.
Well, you're in charge. You take us where you want us to go.
Yeah, I think it would be good to have a look at some maps so that we see what we are talking about here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll open up my maps.
Yeah, Mandy Armstrong in the chat room is saying they erased it from history. Mm-hmm. And we had another question up here that I wanted to ask, make sure that we got out there. You don't have to answer it now, but
okay.
Someone said, please ask them this question. And of course, I can't find it right now. So go ahead.
Okay, so this is the first map I wanted to show you, and this is from 1502 by Antonio Lancanfono. And as you can see in the corner, this is a map dedicated for Tartaria. And yet they were telling us that this country didn't exist. So why make maps dedicated to Tartaria?
Crazy.
Right? So here is Tartaria written on the map with big letters. As you can see here, Tartaria, as I'm moving my mouse. And as you can see, this was next to the Caspian Sea. So that's just one map. And I'm going to show you another one. Here's another map from, let me show you. This is from 1553. Peter of Payne. And again, you can see Tartaria here in Asia. And I'm going to show you a couple of more maps just to see how it developed throughout the ages. Here's a famous map by Abraham Ortelius from 1572. And famous because Abraham Ortelius was a very knowledgeable and respected cartographer. And here, if you zoom in, again, you can see Tartaria right there.
Amazing.
Right? And let's go to the next map.
So obviously, Barnabas, they weren't able to hide some of these older maps then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of these maps were definitely reserved or preserved by some people. I'm not sure. Right. Maybe it was in some cellars of some rich people.
Right.
Again, Tartaria, you can see it there.
And Delaney Jackson in the chat room says the Tartar folks must have had some important knowledge.
Yes, definitely. So just to just to respond to that comment, some of my research shows that they knew about free energy.
Ooh.
And it was wireless as well.
No way.
Yeah. So some of those old buildings that I'm going to show you as well, you will see some pointers at the top that are like antennas. And according to my research, those were harnessing energy. And if any of you have heard of Tesla, he has a similar kind of patented designs, if you look into that deeply.
Barnabas, what years do you estimate the Tartarians were with us?
Well, it seems like from the 1500s, it was on the map, up to 1750. And I think there was a reset around 1800. That's what I believe.
So back in this time, they had this advanced technology.
Yes, definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Please continue. Amazing.
Yeah. So here's another map, 1578. And you can see here Tartaria again. And if you believe the color coding, then the whole Asia was Tartaria.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, someone is asking, did the Catholic Church have anything to do with erasing them from the maps?
What did the Catholic Church didn't have to do with anything?
Exactly.
So I guess the answer is yes.
So Tartaria was a vast country.
It was a vast country. Here's another one, 1584, again, Abraham Ortelius. And look at that. You can see it with big letters, Tartaria. Oh, yeah. And the whole North Asia is basically part of it.
Wow.
Here's the next map, 1670. I'm skipping lots of maps, so I'm just pointing out the main ones. So you can see here Tartaria here.
We do. Now, there's a comment in the chat room. One of the fellow's girlfriends was raised in Belarus, and she did have it in her history.
Oh, yeah, that could be. That's quite possible. Especially if you are if someone was living in Tatarstan, I can imagine that they had in school. Okay, here's another one, 1676. Again, we can see Tartaria right there next to Europe, and it is not a small thing, as you can see. It's quite big. Yeah. So here's another one, a map dedicated to Tartaria.
Wow.
And if you notice here, the sea was also called not the North Sea, but Mare Tartaria or Tartaricum. Oh. So it was a Tartarian sea back then. Here's another nice one from 1684, and you can see Grand Tartaria or Tartary, and you can see here another kind of region, Tartary desert. I'm not sure what that is for, but as you can see, the Caspian Sea is that right there, and Tartaria. The whole thing, the whole North Asia was Tartaria, basically.
You know, Barnabas, you might think from looking at these maps and them being dedicated to Tartaria, you might think that not only was it a vast nation, but it was a very powerful, perhaps even a leading nation.
Yeah. I mean, what I found in my research is that they had this kind of architecture that we find in museums, in libraries, you know, when you go to post offices, or sometimes they designate it to prisons or hospitals, and also lots of government buildings. All of those so-called colonial style buildings with large pillars, or they also call it Greco-Roman. They are basically the Tartarian architecture, and it's a worldwide phenomenon. So you will find it in Europe, you will find it in Asia, in Japan, in Africa, in America, in Canada, you know, you name it.
So that would lead us to think that the Tartarians traveled exclusively as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Well, please continue. This is fascinating.
Yeah, here's another map from 1690. And you can see here, Grand Tartaria, a whole big country, as you can see, right there in your face.
Now, am I seeing this correctly, or is this kind of overlapping what we would think of now as Russia?
Yes, and there's a connection. I can talk about that if you want.
All right.
Here's another one, 1694. And you can see Grand Tartaria again on the map there. I'm skipping to the next one. Again, Grand Tartaria, a whole big country there.
Amazing.
And here's a book page showing the genealogy of the Tartarian Empire. And it started with Genghis Khan.
No
Look at that.
way.
Look at that.
That's amazing.
And if you look at the map underneath, again, they show the map.
Right so there. We've had a race, not just a country, but a huge, long history and genealogy. We've basically have had an ethnic cleansing of a people, haven't we?
Yes, definitely. That's what I think it was. I can show you actually a CIA document that proves this.
Wow.
Okay, so here's the next map from 1720. And again, you can see Tartaria here. And I think there was some kind of change because you can see Tartaria Moscovite and under Grand Tartaria. So I think they probably started to do something about it, like splitting it up or something.
Right.
So I just want to show, how it was developing. This is a map, again, showing the big Tartaria from 1754. It's huge.
Right. But even getting close to that reset period that you talked about, you can see them starting to make changes, but yet still not hiding it completely yet.
Yeah, not completely. Or there were people who still knew about it. So
right,
again,
exactly.
here you can see Tartaria. And at this time period, you can see that there was this Russian Tartaria on the north. And then south, you can see the Chinese Tartary.
Right.
So it was split to three. And here, next to the Black Sea, you can see this was the, here. You can see Tartary. That was the independent Tartary, I believe. So it was like splitting up. And you can see here Russia. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. So
it covered Russia and China.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Here's another one, 1806, and I'm getting to the last ones. So
right.
Don't worry.
No, this is fascinating.
Yeah. So again, you can see here Tartaria. Here's the label Tartary. And then let's go to the next one. Let's see here. This is Russian Tartary. Then you can see independent Tartary here and the Chinese Tartary. So these three different provinces. Here again, this basically this whole thing is Tartaria. Here you can see the independent Tartary right there. And we are going to 1862. I think that will be the last map where you will see here the Chinese Empire, and the independent Tartary is just that little. So you can see after 1800, it was basically reduced to that small size.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And this wasn't a situation where in 1800 the Chinese Empire conquered Tartary, was it?
We don't know for sure, but according to that document, it seems like it was the Russian takeover.
Okay. But definitely the cartographers conquered Tartary.
Yes.
That's amazing. Please keep going. This is amazing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right. So let me go to that. I think it is linked from here.
Yeah, take your time. We're enjoying this.
So I'm opening this document up here.
Oh, and it's interesting too. Someone just made this connection, Christopher, in the chat room. This is true. I know from my Bible studies. It's funny that I believe it's Hebrew, and it is Hebrew, that the word they refer to the word as hell is Tartarus. So
really?
They have a tie-in there. Interesting.
Okay. Nice. So let me show you the beginning of this document, just so that you know what it is.
Is this the CIA document, Barnabas?
Yes, it is. So you can see here, CIA.gov library. Yes. This is from the official CIA. Approved for release 1999-0824. National Cultural Development under Communism. And dated 1957. You can see the signature here, approved for release. So it looks like an official document to me.
Looks like it.
Yeah. And let me show you the second page here, if I find it. Yeah, I want to show you this one.
Looks like a bureaucrat signature.
Yeah. So Muslims of Russia, Tatars of the Volga and the Crimea, Kyrgyz and Tarts of Siberia and Turkestan, Turks and Tatars of, I'm not sure how to say this, Chechens and mountain peoples of the Caucasus, and all whose mosques and prayer houses have been destroyed.
Wow.
Whose beliefs and customs have been trampled upon by the Tsars and the oppressors of Russia. Henceforth, your beliefs and customs, your national and cultural institutions are forever free and involatile. Organize your national life in complete freedom. This is your right. And this was apparently by the Bolsheviks. And that was the signature of Lenin and Stalin in 1917 over this declaration.
Wow.
But as you can see, they destroyed it, right? So
yes.
Now let me go to page 9, which is, I guess, the most revealing of all. So here it is. Or let us take the matter of history, which along with religion, language, am I reading the right one? Let me check. I guess this should be the right one. Language and literature constitute the core of people's cultural heritage. Here again, the communists have interfered in a shameless manner. For example, on 6 August 1944, the Central Committee of the Communist Party sitting in Moscow issued a directive ordering the party's Tartar Provincial Committee to proceed to scientific revision of the history of Tartaria. There you have it.
Yes.
To liquidate serious shortcomings and mistakes of nationalistic character committed by individual writers and historians in dealing with Tartar history. In other words, Tartar history was to be rewritten, let us be frank, was to be falsified in order to eliminate references to great Russian aggressions and to hide the facts of the real course of the Tartar-Russian relations. And this was no isolated case. In every Muslim area within the USSR, historians on orders of the Communist Party have rewritten history to distort the facts so that the Russians appear always in a good light. Needless to say, histories which present the facts truthfully have been withdrawn and destroyed so that the present and future generations of Muslims are forever denied the chance of learning the true facts of their nation's past.
Wow. Amazing. So is the CIA reporting what happened? Is that what they're doing?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Mm. So it was a communist revision of history.
Yes. So probably what we can see, whatever remained, you know, the maps and books are probably from the West.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, was this an attack on Islam?
Well, according to the CIA, that was one of the points, but I don't believe it was the main purpose. You know, I think it was all of that knowledge and language and the culture, the architecture and everything, you know, the free energy. Imagine if we had free energy, you know, what would we need the government for?
And you know, Barnabas, this seems so foreign to us, but now in the United States, the way things are going, we could actually, many of us, imagine a rewriting of American history to edit out certain facts and certain beliefs and certain founding principles of the folks that started this whole thing off. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility to many of us over here in the United States anymore.
Oh, yeah. I actually have a video dedicated to American fake history. So if you go to my channel, you can find it as well.
So just look up Barnabas Nagy in YouTube and we'll find your channel, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'm going to put the link to it in here. Go ahead, please.
Okay, sure. So I would like to show you a couple of flags as well that prove that Tartary was really a country.
Please do. Thanks to all the people who support. Whoops, I went on your channel.
Yeah,
that video
that was
came
me.
on, so.
Yeah. So here is Bao's universal display of the naval flag of all nations in the world. Here you can see that. And if we go to the bottom, because it is alphabetical, you can see here Empire of Tartary and small Tartary here.
Yes.
Can you see that? So the Empire of Tartary, I think that was probably the northern part of Tartary, and they had this kind of dragon, or some I think it's some kind of dragon, and they have this small independent Tartary which had the owl as a symbol.
Amazing. We were just talking about the owl on this channel the other day. And there's Barnabas's channel there in the chat room, so you can all feel free to go over there and subscribe. So they have definitely erased it from history. There's no doubt about it. It looks like Barnabas might be having a little bit of connection trouble, or I am. I'm not sure which, but fascinating information to find that a whole culture, a whole country can, and a vast one, can actually be obliterated from history by governmental organizations. It should be sobering. It should be staggering. And it should be very, very upsetting for us, I think, for this type of a thing to be able to be perpetrated. And for people like us, and it looks like we might have lost Barnabas, for people like us that are people that study, people that learn, people that aren't satisfied with the status quo, we should be motivated, I would think, at least to some degree, to try to get the full record out. I mean, if we really are people of truth, and if we really are people that want to have reality presented for everyone to be able to consider, then I would think we would really want to be a part of bringing this realization back into reality. And it looks like Barnabas is back with us.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. We were just talking about how important it is if a whole nation can be erased, that people that really proclaim themselves to believe in truth should probably be involved with trying to make that history known.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So
please continue on.
Let me share my screen. Can you see it now?
Yes, it'll come right back up. Here it comes. It's just a little bit of a delay. So we're looking at the flags.
Yeah, so here's another one, the flags of all nations. And you can see here, if I zoom in, Tartary right there.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about a country that doesn't have a flag, you know?
Wow.
And they say that Tartary wasn't a country.
Well, it definitely was. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Here's another one.
And Russia kind of even stole their colors for their flag, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. And here's another one from I guess this was a Latin book.
Oh, look at that.
And I guess this is, I'm not sure, but this may be Russian writing. So it could be from a Russian book. But again, this is Tartaria.
Yeah, that definitely is Cyrillic writing.
Yeah, yeah. So that was about the flags. And I can show you some books as well.
It almost looks like it's written on the skin of a striped animal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely could be. So here's one. And I think this is Latin. You can see here, Bellum Tartaricum, or the conquest of the great and most renowned empire of China by the invasion of the Tartars. So that's one. And this was dated 1654. Here's another one.
Amazing.
The voyages and travels of the ambassadors. And you can see here, Muscovy, Tartary, Persia. And this is from a book. I'm not sure which one, but again, you can see here in the contents, the armies of the Tartars. The Tartars fixed the residence. The origin of the kingdom of the Tartars, it was a kingdom. Here, concerning Genghis Khan, first emperor of the Tartars.
Wow.
Successive emperors of the Tartars, wandering life of the Tartars, the deities of the Tartars, and the Tartar armies.
So this was a very, very powerful nation, not only with great technology, but looks like great military prowess. One wonders how they were defeated and erased.
Oh yeah, well, the powers to be are always finding some ways to do that, right?
They are.
Yeah, so here's another one just about the language. Again, an older kind of newspaper, and here we will see that inappropriate costume and sing in 6 different languages: Russian, German, English, French, Tartarian, and Italian, composing the most brilliant gems of popular operas. So this was
Wow.
some kind of opera feature.
Right.
And this is from the Britannica, an old Britannica page. Tartary, a vast country in the northern parts of Asia, hounded by the Siberia on the north and left. This is called the Great Tartary.
Wow.
So even Britannica confirms it, but obviously you will not find it in the new ones. This is an old one.
Right. So there's no doubt it was there, and there's no doubt it's been erased.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing stuff, Barnabas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. It really is. You know, we use it as kind of a cliche, but it is true. History really is written by the winners.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So here are the buildings that I was talking about.
Oh, this will be great.
Couple of buildings, but you can see this everywhere. And I'm just going to show you a couple. So these kinds of pointing antennas, you see, these are not new. It was always there. You know what I mean? And
so those were always there, even back in the 1500s, 1600s.
Yeah, we have old photographs as well showing that.
And you would theorize that they're not just decorative.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Why would you do that? What would be the purpose?
Yeah, so, it definitely looks like antennae.
Yeah. So and look at the decoration, the intricate details. You know, mm-hmm. if you see any kind of buildings that were recently built, we don't build these kinds of buildings. You know, we just build block houses that are very simple, and we don't decorate them like this.
Right.
There was a cultural heritage that we just didn't continue. But these people cared for arts, as you can see.
It's very interesting, Barnabas, that not only would they be warriors, but it looks like, again, they were artisans, and I would venture scholars mm-hmm. as well. So it seems like a very diverse and very, very deep culture.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And here's another interesting detail. You will find that this is the Melbourne Royal Exhibition Building from Australia. Mm-hmm. And apparently this was built from 1879 to 1880. So they are telling us this was built in 1 year. Can you imagine that?
I would say probably not.
Yeah. There was also a hotel that was built in 53 days. I have a video about that. 53 days, and it was temporarily built. And I think it was like 4 or 5 floors, you know, and they say it was without a foundation.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the building inside. No, this is Royal Exhibition Building. And again, if you will see the intricate details everywhere, not just outside, but inside as well.
Interesting.
You don't build these kind of buildings nowadays.
And that's somewhat reminiscent of the flying buttresses of the European cathedrals. So they may have stolen that technology from the Tartarians.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here's another one. This is still Australia, and this is South Melbourne Town Hall. So this is a very typical kind of Tartarian architecture with these large stone pillars, you know, and this decoration at the top and these kind of like lines or grids in it.
Right.
And
so those aren't just decorative, you're saying?
Well, this, I think it is decoration, this one.
Okay.
But that's kind of the Tartarian symbol, or how you can find a building like that. You know, these pillars are very, very symbolic. But look at this.
Gotcha. So we're taught that those are Greco-Roman, but they're really not. They're Tartarian.
Yes. If you look at the top here, and I think these crosses, or looking like crosses, they're not crosses. They probably put these horizontal metal rods just there, so that it looks like Christian, but I think it was not it was without it before.
I would agree.
Yeah. So and again, I think this building was 1879 to 1880. So again, 1 year. You know, like, give me a break. You build this building in 1 year.
No way.
Yeah.
They're obviously trying to hide something. So that building is more ancient than 1879, 1880.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So here's an old photograph of Palacio Pisurno. And I think this was it Spain or Argentina? I'm not sure. I think it was Spain. But again, you can see this architecture that is very telling. And all of these older kind of buildings are very massive, and, you know, they are very stable. So when there are earthquakes, these are the buildings that still stands like that. You know, the new buildings, they are collapsing. Right. And again, you can see here these antennas at the top.
There's many of them. Look at the top of the building; they're all over.
They are harnessing energy, I believe.
Well, that's certainly an interesting argument. It makes you wonder.
Yeah,
because they don't look particularly pretty as far as decoration go. It seems to me to be fairly obvious that they would have some other type of a purpose rather than simple decoration.
Oh yeah, yeah. So here's another building, and I'm not sure the year for this. I don't even know the credits for this. But what I wanted to point out to you is, look at those windows. Can you see that? They are basically underground level. So
wow.
I believe this is the proof for the mud flood. So what they did was, this building is continuing underground. You know what I mean? And civilization was built upon civilization. That's how they roll it. And they just show that this was covered by mud, and they just covered it up. And then usually in these buildings, there are stairs going up to the first floor, but there are floors underneath it.
Interesting.
And again, this is a very old building with lots of intricate details, and it's like 18th floor, right? Look at that building, still standing tall. And at the top, you can see the antennas right there.
Yep.
I mean, this could be just a flag, you know, it looks like used for flag. So I'm not doubting that, but, you know, all of those small antenna looking like things.
It makes you wonder, that's for sure.
Yeah. This is from America, the Benson Polytechnic School. And again, you can see the pillar style, you know, the so-called colonial or Greco-Roman.
Right.
And it doesn't look like a very, you know, interesting building unless you go to the left side, and you will see these windows under ground level. Right there.
Oh my, okay, interesting.
Yeah. I have a video where I actually walk on, have a virtual tour on Google Map and show around the building. There are more of those.
And you're saying that your belief is that is showing that civilization again is built on top of civilization.
Oh yeah, I'll show you a couple of more.
Please do.
To make sure. Here's another one. This is from America, and this is this building was designated for the insane, they said. It's called the Fergus Falls Lunatic Center or something like that, state hospital. And apparently people were put here who were lunatics. But according to my research, reading between the lines of what they are saying in Wikipedia, they put here those people who were questioning the truth, just like today.
Yep.
You know the FEMA camps and, you know, imprisonment.
Do you know what year this photo was taken, by the way?
I think this is a new one. I'm not sure.
Okay.
This is from Wikipedia. You can have a look.
All right, we'll do.
I think it is 2012, actually. It's here.
Okay.
2012. So it's a new one. And I'm not sure if you will be able to see it, but here again, you can see the windows at the ground level.
Right.
You know, why would you build something like that? And there are people who are obviously trying to
Look at that. Yeah.
bring up the argument that this is just for the ventilation system for the cellar. And there are buildings that have the ventilation window, but they're usually smaller than the window above it. But these windows are the same size.
That's very interesting. I've lived in a building. In fact, I used to be back in another lifetime, I was pastor of a church, and it had windows like that in the basement, but they were very just small, single pane windows. It wasn't at all like the windows on the regular floor. So your point is well taken.
Oh, yeah. So here's another one. This is a church, and I don't think we will see here those windows. But what I wanted to point out here is the 924, right? And in Wikipedia, this is titled as 1924.
Ah, so we're getting to the missing 1,000 years now.
The missing 1,000 years, exactly. So the missing 1,000 years is with the J or I, Jesus,
right,
or J, and an I for ESOs. And basically they just made up 1,000 years. That's what I believe.
Interesting. I'm just beginning to understand that school of thought as well. So this is all fascinating.
Mm-hmm. So here's one from Spain. Again,
no,
look at
the cynic would say, "Oh, they just forgot to put the 1 in there. They didn't really mean 924."
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, yeah. But I have a dedicated video about that, and I'm showing their, dates where they show the I and the J.
Amazing.
So here again, this kind of architecture you will not find anywhere. They had the time and capacity to build these kind of things, at the time of where basically they didn't have anything automated. They were using, horse buggies, according to what we know, but maybe they were using something else. And you tell me that, with horse buggies, you build such buildings?
It's pretty staggering. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Or here's another one, again, from Australia, Flinders Station. And this was built in 1854.
And that is the link to Barnabas's YouTube channel I've put in there a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that one. Yep.
Yeah. So here's that. And just the details, what they didn't have time for, These people must have had lots of time and they cared for arts.
They really did. There's no doubt about it. Very detailed, very intricate.
Mm-hmm.
Expert craftsman, you would have to say.
So here are some more pictures I wanted to show you, just dedicated to the mud flood windows. So as you can see here, these are the same kind of windows, but a level down. Why would you put that there? And this is just below ground level.
Interesting.
Here's another one, before and after picture. On the right side, you can see it before. Yeah. And this is after excavation on the left side. So how can you argue that, You can see that this was covered in mud right there.
Wow. That's one of the better pictures I've ever seen on that subject. That's pretty fascinating. Yeah.
And you can see here a door as well.
So it definitely looks like that on the left side, that it was under some type of a flood, be it mud or water or some type of a landslide, but it obviously isn't just, that goes a long way towards debunking the thought, oh, those are just ventilation, because you can see, at least in this building, there was definitely a floor that's now underground that was not before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Here's another one. A very good picture. It's the same building, but a higher quality. And you can see this was definitely underground, and this was a door. You can see that this is a door and this is a full window.
That's very, very pronounced. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Here's another one. You can see here the windows all the way through.
So this was a mud flood, Barnabas.
Well, I believe they call it mud flood. We call it mud flood because that's how it went viral, right?
Okay.
But I believe it was a worldwide flood. And what remained, the debris that created the mud. Gotcha.
So it's somewhat analogous to a Noah flood?
Yeah, or Gilgamesh.
Or Gilgamesh. Okay. Do you think it's
And
that same time frame, or is it more recent?
I think it is. The time frame is definitely off. But I have a proof for the worldwide flood as well, and I have a video series on that.
Interesting, fascinating stuff.
There are these buildings underwater. You know, they found a whole city underwater at the River Nile Delta,
right?
Called Heraklion, and it's like under 10 meter of water, so 10-meter deep. And they found pyramids at other places, like at Cuba. Then there were megalithic monuments and at around Taiwan. So all of these are usually around 10 meters water, which is about 30 feet depth, 33. That means that 10 meters or 30 feet is the result of the flood.
And Barnabas, this picture here that you're showing with this last one, I mean, that's roughly 3 stories, roughly 30 feet.
Yes.
So it backs up your argument.
Yeah. And you can
you imagine the deluge that would cause a worldwide 30-foot flood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy.
Now, do you think that was worldwide, Barnabas? Worldwide over the whole earth?
Yeah, I think it is worldwide because, these monuments can be seen everywhere.
Some of our Planet X friends are going to say it was when Nibiru came by.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I don't believe in planets. I'm a flat earther, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But in any way, you can. That's not really the question, or that's not really the argument. The main point is that there are these powers, entities, who knows what, and they definitely want to reset civilization, and they are against us human beings. I think that's what we should focus on.
Absolutely.
Because, we can argue about the shape of the earth and, about lots of other things. But why they are killing us nowadays as well, with chemtrails and vaccination and, pesticides, herbicides, you name it. Everything is designed against human beings.
So, Barnabas, why do they want to hide the fact that this flood took place? Why are we building on top of history and acting like it never happened?
Well, I think they do that because once you realize that this was true, then you realize that there are these entities who wants to destroy the civilization, or at least they did. And as you said, if you erase someone's history, you erase their origin or root, their belonging.
Absolutely. Fascinating. What else do you have on this?
So let me show you here. Here is another one. Again, you can see the windows are the same, almost the same style. And again, underground level. Here's another one. Why would you build such a ventilation window with all those details? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. And look at the architecture again. Here's another one, excavation. You will see these pillars and doors and entries. And I was always wondering when I was a child, that why is it that all of these ancient excavations and architectural finds are always under the earth, in the dirt? Why is it? And only now I have the answer.
Great information. Certainly makes you wonder. Certainly makes you think. Somebody's asking if they were giants.
Yeah, I think they were giants. Yeah, I have a video about that as well, actually.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, because some of these old buildings have huge doors. I mean, it's like crazy, like 4 times bigger than a usual human being, or even 5 times bigger. Like the height of it. So it's really huge, and even if I'm going into one of the like museums or a town hall, you have to reach up to the handle. Have you seen those large doors?
Yes.
And you have to reach up, and it's difficult to open. It's a huge door.
I've seen those. It's crazy. It really is.
It looks like it's not for human beings.
It's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
So here's another one, the excavation. You can see that this whole city have been built on top of another. Or here's another one. Again, you can see the windows. And this one is interesting because it was actually built in. So.
Oh, yeah.
Then you can see another one here. You can see the windows on the ground level. Again, you can see that this was here. So here's the ground level now. This is the current city. And this was all under dirt.
Oh, yeah.
That was taken out. And here's a door again.
So you have to ask yourself why.
Yeah. Or here's another one. That's one of my favorite. Look at that. I think this is an American town. Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Look at that one. Yeah. There's your 33 feet again.
Mm-hmm. Here's another window built in. This one, apparently the road collapsed under the car. And that's why they had to rescue it. And you can see what happened underneath.
Oh my. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
Windows underground.
Yeah. Again, halfway windows right there. This is from the UK. No, sorry, this is Amsterdam. Amsterdam, according to what is written here. Again, you can see here the windows and the ground level. And we are back. So that was it.
Interesting stuff. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So Barnabas, what is your why do you surmise this has been done? Why have they hidden this history? Why are they building on top of it, pretending like it never happened? What are they trying to hide from us?
Well, our history, our roots. When we know our roots, then we can connect to each other, I believe, better. You know, there's so much so much division in the world because of religion, because of political belonging, you know, or scientific beliefs. And I think when we can connect to each other and know that this was actually built by the same civilization, we were one, you know, and we would start to entertain the idea that we are not divided and all these division constructs are actually made by the powers to be, then perhaps we could be stronger and beat them. And they don't want that. They don't like unity. And I believe that's why they create division.
Absolutely. What do you think is our best course of action now being armed with this type of information?
Well, it sounds corny, but to unite and to become, you know, like one people and dropping these kind of differences. And, you know, when I was a Christian, this sounded like some kind of new age concept, but I'm not a new age or anything. It's just really about being a human being and caring for the other person next to you, you know, and to realize that what you are living is actually a matrix pull over your eyes. All those constructs of society, you know, the political divisions, the religional divisions, everything you heard in school, you know, 95% of it is bullshit, basically.
Yep.
So
there's absolutely no doubt about it. And again, I've posted your YouTube channel into the chat room again. And what is your website?
That's barnabasnagy.com.
Nagy, right?
That's right.
And that's also in the chat room right now. So lots of great information, folks. Make sure you go over there, like, share, subscribe to Barnabas's channel. Subscribe to this channel while you're here as well, too. And on your way out, let us know if you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Let your voice be heard. Barnabas, this is fantastic, fascinating information. And I hope that you'll come back again in the future and share some more of your research and study with our folks here at the Christian Whistleblower channel.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Absolutely. What would you like to leave us with? What type of a thought, encouragement, or just something that you want to leave in the minds of nearly 300 people watching us, and we'll probably get about 10,000 people viewing this video?
Okay. Well, I would want you to go out, you know, and look at the town where you are, where you live, and look at those buildings and try to confirm whether it is so or not. Try to disprove it if you can. But if you start to see, these buildings and all that architectural details and the windows on the ground floor, your eyes will start to open, and you will see the world in a different light.
Excellent advice. I hope that you'll all do that. Barnabas, please stay there for 1 second so I can say goodbye to you personally. For those of you in the chat room, thank you so much for being here, seeking after truth. Please do visit Barnabas's site as well as his YouTube channel, and get out in your town and look around, and you may, as Barnabas says, begin to see things with different eyes. And I believe we are the last generation of real humans. It's time for us to open our eyes, start asking questions, and start questioning answers. Until later today, for Barnabas Nagy, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Barnabas, thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
You all. My pleasure. We'll see you all real soon.
All right. Bye.